What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another riveting episode, or at least I think it's going to be riveting, of Be.More. This is a moment because it is related to video and live stream, but we're looking at some media things that are happening and media and beyond, I would say. And guess what? I'm lucky that for the third time, this individual said yes to the call, and she's come on to talk about some things with us. So we'll be back right after this.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire.
Okay, let's not waste time. Let's just go on ahead and bring on Shawanna Kennedy. Are you here somewhere in the studio?
I believe so. Yes. Hey, everyone. Hello, Dr. Tachi. I'm excited to do what? It's time to be more. Yes.
Hey, that's what we always attempt to do, to be better, smarter, wiser in video and live stream, but in life in general, because I think some people really need to hear that message. So, all right. So what are we talking about today?
I believe it's time to brag. We need to brag. We need to
Wait,
brag.
did you get brag?
You got it right, because you have to be, in some cases, like I do, I talk with my hands, but being a little animated, it brings more attention. I know, like, I don't even have anything here that I could grab, but also because of course this is talking about media,
right?
It's what are you doing to bring attention to who you are and bringing out your personality?
Yeah,
right? Brag. I'm just saying, being a little animated. I think it pulls people in, especially if that is authentically your personality. Some people kind of hide because some people don't know how to take certain personalities, but that may be the thing that get you the money.
Absolutely. Listen, I realize I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I also realize that I don't care. For that to be an issue, I would have to care, and I don't. I do what I do because that's who I am. I am seriously quirky. I am very animated, facial wise, hand wise, and everything. And I tend to use all of that. And I think that's why my audience connects with me, to see what strange face will she make next. But
I've never been big on hiding my facial expressions. I believe that is a trained skill and one that I have not worked on a lot. Right. So
listen,
you can kind of tell it. And I really pray on that sometimes, because when I'm thinking it, it's written all over your face, as they say in the song.
Well, if your fate rests in me having a poker face, you might as well hang it up, because that's not going to happen. So we are talking about, being seen, being heard, and bragging in order to be seen and be heard, but to borrow your catchphrases. And this actually came out of our good friend, our mentor, our business everything, our business bestie, Shay Cannon. This whole week was talking about branding, brand recognition, developing the brand, that type of thing. But one thing that we saw that really stuck out about this came out on Tuesday, and we were talking about brag. She was like, it's time to brag, right? Because generally when we're talking about things, we're talking about the things that we may be facing in our business, things that are working well in our business, things that we may need help with business wise. And usually it's that. But this time she said, and go ahead and tell us about what your brand is, what your brand stands for, what it does. It's time to brag. So Brilliance Shawanna, Brilliance Kennedy over here, basically saw that and said this would be a perfect Be.More. You should. I said, no, we should. Come on. So come back on.
I really do. I think it's fitting, because when you think about being more, the whole behind it all is, if people, honestly, if they don't know you, they don't know you. And every now and then you do have to be okay to toot your own horn, pat your own self on the back, to let people know and to make some noise. Yes, we're saying brag, but you really need to make some noise in your business. And that is even by way of those testimonials. I'm big, because I'm all things video, right? Video visibility. It's grabbing that video. If you are talking to someone, you need to make sure. One of the things that I do, I'm all about, let's have a video conversation, because there may be some goodness in there that we can capture right on camera. So that's a little note and a little side thing for some people, because I know you take your consultations, you take meetings, but be okay to lean into that visibility of the video, because that's a way for other people to do what? Brag on you. How will people know? Except by the testimonials and the things that other people say. I'm big onto everything. You already know it in the good book. It says, to everything there is a season, which means there is a season to brag on you. And we don't have to always wait till the end of a calendar year or the anniversary of your business or the venture that you're doing. We have to be okay to celebrate in the middle. And oftentimes we get so bogged down with life showing up, right, that we forget to pause for the moment to then brag and celebrate. We already know, you already know, Dr. Tachi, that in this life and in business, people will be like saying, that's all we do is see him. That's all we do is see her. Yeah, but then you will also become top of mind. So you need to brag. You need to be okay to brag on yourself. Make it something special. Pull people in. What do you think?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So to the point of bragging, you brought up two things that I thought are very interesting. So you talked about the good book, and that kind of makes me think of religion. Not kind of, it does make me think of religion and the role that that has in whether or not we toot our own horn. Especially for women, we've been taught that it is not ladylike, that it is not proper to toot your own horn, that you really are supposed to wait for other people to give you your accolades, that you're not supposed to do it yourself, right? And so I think much of us not talking about who we are, not showing, talking about our talents and what we can do, some of that comes out of that spirit of religion, and not saying that in a bad way, but we haven't learned how to separate what is taught religiously from how to operate within the world. And in order for people to know who it is, let's talk about video, because that's what we do, videos and live streams. In order for people to know who you are and what you do, you need to brag. What is that bragging? And often it is being on video and saying what you do. Part of the bragging is also, if you are producing for other people, if you don't have your logo and company name at the end, I don't know what to do with you. That's part of the quote brag as well, to put it there. Always ask, if someone asks you to do something in that vein, even if you are just volunteering to help them, ask them, hey, could I put my logo and my tagline at the end so that people know it's you? That's a way of bragging. But sometimes we humility ourselves and humble ourselves right out of another payday. So that's one thing that came up, the good book and the religion, that sometimes.
And you know what, even with you saying religion, some of that, it has nothing to do with religion. It's tradition. And some of the traditions were for when they were, right? I mean, yes, we have to then, find the old path and walk therein to a degree. However, things do change. The only thing that I know that don't change is, our creator. Things change, and we have to be okay to make some tweaks, make some adjustments, right? We don't make excuses over here. We make the necessary adjustment. And some of that adjustment is being okay to brag, right? And because how will the people know if you don't show? That's why you do have to show up, of course, give value and all of that. We already know, give value, but you gotta be okay to shine and shine out loud. And if my light so happened to dim yours, it's not about that, because we are definitely supposed to lift as we climb, as we're growing, and bring people alongside of us and with us, because no man is an island, even though some of us may need some isolation time. However, we have to know that if they don't know, who don't want to brag on, let's talk about food. Now, if you know somebody to make a good old cake, you're going to brag on that person.
And people who know how to make that good old cake, they will brag on themselves. Think about how many people will cook. All you have to do is, we're in the holiday season now.
Yes.
All you have to do is look at you bring this and you bring that. No, we don't want him to bring that because he messes it up every time. So the people who know how to make that good dish, the people who know how to make that good cake, they will tell you, well, I make a mean such and such cake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we don't take that same spirit and put it into the things we do work-wise. And I will take
But you
that
said
further.
religion. It's again with religion, of course, culture, the times when we think about decades ago and things like that, and that has carried on, and we have to be okay to shake some cages and to rattle some things and break some shackles. And of course, there's a proper way to brag. However, we still have to be okay to make some noise.
Right. I think, and bragging has also become something that is looked down upon in society. That it's, there's, like you said, there is a way to let people know about the good things that you do without, number one, without putting what other people do down. Because when you are bragging, or quote unquote bragging, it's about you. It's not about, well, unlike the other people, I make my cereal with, no, it's not about that, right?
Yeah.
It's about you. So focus on the good things you do and not as a comparison to other people, right? This is okay. So this is interesting. I watched Club Shay Shay yesterday, right? And who was on Club Shay Shay? Not Lil Jon, Wiz Khalifa. So Wiz Khalifa was on Club Shay Shay. And the thing that I noticed about what he did is whenever there was a question that came up that was almost a comparison between him and someone else, he would say, well, he'd say, wow, that's interesting. Well, I don't really know what they do, or what, I can't speak on what they do, but what I do. So that's the way to do it, right? You can't be concerned about what others are doing and how they're doing it, because you're not them. That's not your forte. Focus on you. So that's something that struck me as a modern concept, that Club Shay Shay interview.
It's funny that you said that. And of course, I'm trying to say her name, but speaking of him, just this week, a young lady, it's funny that we're even talking about cakes. Young lady that lives here in Georgia, she makes sweet treats. It was recently where she got to meet him, because I believe it was last year, where she made a pound cake. Someone who gets cakes from her shared something with him. Now it has actually reached him. And then she had the opportunity this holiday season to actually meet him, to then pass off this dessert. So it's funny that you just said that. I just had to highlight that. So it talks about when people brag on you, to where he was mentioning her in an interview. And I believe he was in an interview with Ocho Cinco. They were talking about
that show.
That they were talking, and he was even bragging on her doing that interview. And so don't you realize, if you're listening, because you could be the person that one mention from you, a valued voice could be the difference between a yes and a no for a deserving person. And when we brag on people, that's the power of a brag.
Absolutely. And it's also congratulating yourself, because there's so many people that will not congratulate you for things.
Yes.
If you're looking to outside forces to validate you and congratulate you, it may not happen. I'll give you an example of that coming full circle. So I'm just going to say it, and some of you may not like me saying it. I don't care. I would have to care first for that to be an issue. You already know I don't care. So there's been a trend, and this has been within the past probably 3 years, right? Where I've seen the trend on social media of people wishing themselves a happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. And I'm not talking about the clever ones where it's like, I never knew that I would get to this point, passing through, where it's like very poignant. It's wishing themselves a happy birthday. And again, being of the mindset and the frame of mind that you get used to, well, you're not supposed to congratulate yourself. Other people are supposed to do that for you. I'm looking hashtag side. I'm like, you don't tell other people it's your birthday. You let other people say happy birthday to you. I don't care. Why are you wishing it? And then you're celebrating all year long. Why? Your birthday is one day. If it's Friday, I'll give you the weekend. No, you can't celebrate all this time and you don't say happy birthday. But then I had to do this. First of all, not to project my things. And I promise people, this is related to media. not to project the way I do things onto other people. I cannot measure other people with the same ruler I use to measure myself. I don't do the happy birthday thing to myself. I don't celebrate the whole month, the whole year, the whole decade. The one day, and that's it for me. That's what I do because that's the type of person I am. But I also had to realize that in our society, looking at societal conditions and the way we are, particularly for Black women, because I notice this a lot with Black women, you are so not congratulated. Let's put it, you are so uncongratulated, right? If that's a word, that I see why. Number one, you celebrate all month, all year, all decade long. And number two, you say happy birthday to yourself because you're not assured that celebration by anyone else. So to bring it back full circle to media, there may not be anyone else there to tell you happy birthday or congratulations on that great video. What you say that to yourself. You have to know what you want before you require that from others, right? And that if you did a good job and you feel you did a good job, guess what? It emanates. Now, there is something to the fact of definitely people congratulating you. It feels good. But as long as you know that you did a great job, in my opinion, beyond the best of your ability, because the best of your ability to me sounds a little bit mediocre, but that's just me.
But you know what? We have to add, we're talking about media. That is actually the one time when we're thinking about the folks on the book face, right? And all of those things.
On book face.
Those are those special times, speaking of birthdays, when they open up the algorithm. It's no other time like a birthday. If you notice, that's when they push out that information because that's the flood that you're going to get. And that's why you need to take that video opportunity to not only, thank your creator and all of the things that you may have accomplished in that time. And that's why I say you have to celebrate. You really do have to celebrate yourself. Hello, self first. You have to celebrate yourself because we don't know the trials, the tribulations, the circumstances, the situations.
Correct.
To get you to that point that you're saying. It's not that I've gone another time around the sun. It's saying you don't know what it took for me to get here. And so I'm going to publicly recognize and say, I'm excited that it's my special day. And this means a lot to me. Now, of course, it'd be nice if y'all comment put it in the comments and congratulate me or say happy birthday to me as well. Especially if you saying, I don't look like what I've been through. You can't smell the smoke on me. You don't see all of the ashes around me, right? Beauty are the ashes of feet, all of those things. So we have to let people know that's a part of the story. We're talking about business. We're talking about branding.
So you're building part of the brand, and that's part of your brand story. Nobody knows about it unless you brag. So it's time to brag. So 100%, I get that. I think going back to what you said, there's a way to do it. To me, there's also a way to do it. And I'm not right here. I'm not saying that my way is the only way. Not at all. You do you. However, I would suggest that messages are better received if they are also packaged well. So if you're going to do that type of thing, make it about your story, like you said, why that's important to you. Not just a simple because I want to be wished happy birthday. Maybe that's it. But why should I care, right? Why should I care? Especially if I don't know you or I just know you through Facebook. Why should I care? Why is
that's why media is important. Media is important too. And hello, I'm all about video. Taking people along the part of your story, if they followed you throughout the year and they've seen the highs and the lows, and they're like, oh my God, it's their anniversary. It's the business birthday. Congratulations. Oh my God, because you know their story and you have to bring people alongside of you. No, we don't have to do the TMI and giving them every itty bitty thing that goes on. But people need to see some of the ebbs and flows in that business where that makes them appreciate and celebrate you even more.
Absolutely. And here's another way that you can use this. all of us in our different circles, especially you, myself, and the circles that we're in, we all have things like, offers that we're doing, courses, etc. And so think about if you, another way to pull that in to brag and to use video to do so is, hey, guess what, guys? Today is my birthday. I'm really happy, but that's not the only reason I came on. My birthday is 12/20. Well, for this week only, everything in stock is going to be 12/20, or it's going to be $20 in honor of the 20th, that type of thing. Or my course is only going to be 12/20 for the next 2 days only. So find a way that you can pull in those things to not make, because remember, people are not watching just for you. They're watching for them too, and you've got to offer value. So if you're going to do something like that, how can I make it relevant to a wider audience? That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, you have to be, entertaining and educational.
Correct.
When we come out, because they want to be entertained. One of the things, since we're talking about bragging and we're talking about celebrating, you already know right here.
Why did I know? I was about to ask about that pom-pom.
A lot of people often wonder when they see this, right? Yeah, as you see, I'm gray-haired woman, right? But part of this is not just the symbol of part of the business, the brand. It was actually in me bragging, in me celebrating my self journey, being okay to tap into being a wife of over 25. We 25 years in right now. Also, when I think about being a mother, I have a minor child that's still in high school, but I still have 2 adult children. Yes, that means that, yes, if you're doing your numbers and you're doing your math, that means I had a child later, way later in life. However, but then I had to lean in and be okay to embrace who I was as a woman, as an individual, the things that I knew that God was doing through me. And as a part of my self-discovery journey, even later in life, after being somebody's mom, my entire adult life, I'm grateful to God for that, because he could have chosen anyone else. However, I had to be okay to celebrate myself and cheer for myself, which is something that I speak about, I talk about in conferences and all over, because if you don't know what that sounds like for yourself, that's why people lean into the wrong type of people, because they don't know what that celebration for themselves sound like. And then that means every little thing then they're leaning into, because they want approval. You have to approve yourself, which means part of that approval is learning how to celebrate yourself.
Celebrate yourself. All right. So let's recap and some of the things we talked about today. Again, the message of it's time to brag resonated so much with both of us that we wanted to come on and talk about it today. And I'm glad that Shawanna came on Be.More to help really add some oomph to the conversation, right? To add some substance to the conversation. So the first thing is, it's okay to brag on yourself, right? Also, that if you don't, excuse me, other people won't know what it is that you can do and are capable of doing. Also, though, there is a way in which to brag, right? That is most effective, that will be beneficial. And we're talking about video here, beneficial both for you get your desired effect, but also the audience feels like they get something, and it's not just you showing my $10 million house or your $10 million house. That type of thing. If you have it, good for you. No shade, but there's a way to do it. Before we do that, let me say that I watch a lot of YouTube. I say this 10 million times a day to you all. So Shawanna, you already know I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch a lot of content creators. Many of them are fashion, beauty, lifestyle. Of course, I watch tech. I'm a tech girl, so I love the tech ones. I love the media ones. So I watch a lot of different types of YouTube vloggers. So the vloggers that they may be traveling, right? Or they may show what they have. They're like, hey, I just got this in. Obviously, we're seeing their wonderful homes. Obviously, we're seeing them travel to all these fabulous places. Obviously, they live in places that may have a great nightlife or whatever, like a New York City. And, that's one of the most interesting places in the world. And you may not live there. So in order for that to be beneficial to your audience, so that it is not a jealous watch, I hate them, but I want to watch because I want to see. I noticed people saying, you know what? I really appreciate it's because of you that I'm able to have all of this. So thank you so much for watching. There is no vlog without you watching. So I appreciate it. So I wanted to say that you have to show your audience that you are appreciative of them giving you the time to brag.
This is true. Yeah, you're so right. And I say we get to do what we do.
Yes.
We get I because it could be done by somebody else, and so we get to do it. I believe even with myself and even with Dr. Tachi doing similar things, it's still, I believe we have a set of people that we're called to help along the way, even if we have the same skills, certain skills. So if you're doing something that is similar to someone else, that's why we're not supposed to get caught up in comparison, because you have people that are assigned to you. It doesn't matter if it's said a gazillion times by somebody else. It may be that one time that you show it, that you offer it, that you give it, that's when it resonates with that person who needed to hear it from, you looking at me? You. And that's why we have to show up. We have to be visible. But of course, yes, we're visible. Have something to say of value, so that you do have something to what? Brag about.
Right? Oh, brag about. I forgot. Brag about. And really quickly before we end this, it's interesting that you brought up the things that there is quite a bit of crossover and overlap in the things that we do. Absolutely. And that's why, as she said, it doesn't do you any good to get caught up in comparison when it comes. So in our case, both of us do video. We do virtual productions for people. There are places where we differ as well. Like she has a whole you first, self first movement, motivation type thing. That's not me. Okay.
She's like, nah.
Come here now. I think I am very good at getting people to do things. Because I'm a professor as well, so I'm good at that. But listen, I can't motivate you. Sit down and let's do it. Okay. If you're looking for motivation from me, perhaps I'm not the one. Shawanna is the one, right?
You have a Jillian and you have Bob. You see, I need wait, which one? Yeah. I need a Jillian, right? But then there's some people that need that side of me that's a Bob, but see, they don't realize, but underneath I still have that edge of a Jillian. So when I think about Biggest Loser and how when they, on that show, that's what happened, but it's still, they both were there. They both were coaches, and the ultimate goal was to help people to lose pounds, lose weight, right. Whether that in some cases was mental and or physical. And right. So I just had to put that in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because you remember when I did that, when we did our Dryer Buzz's morning thing, and I had everybody do videos, and there were some people who didn't do that. So I was like, well, you know what? It's too late now. So if you didn't do it, I am not spending, and that is me. Right? Yeah. That's what I do. I'm the one that, of course, if I see you're trying, I will give you extra grace. But if somebody just didn't do something, oh, well, that means it's not for me to grade you or whatever. So, but you have that edge, but you have the opposite. So some people, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Shawanna may not be everybody's cup of tea.
But I'm somebody's cup of coffee.
Exactly. And so am I. I am somebody's chai. So I think we really did a nice job, I think, of talking about bragging on yourself. You have to do it. And I promise I will not say anything for those of you who like to congratulate yourselves on your birthdays. I understand why, and I see why now. Still might look at you side eye, but I understand. Anything else you want to talk about, Shawanna?
Yeah, no, this has just been amazing. So once again, thank you for allowing me to grace your platform. Those are other opportunities, guys, when people appreciate what you have to offer and to give, that they invite you in. They allow it to be okay to come in. So I want to brag. I want to brag right now. Where my finger? This way. Yeah. On this young lady right here. She does an amazing job of highlighting individuals all over the globe. So if you are not following Dr. Tachi and the other things that she's doing, she has more than one channel, even on YouTube. Go over there and show her and brag on her, show her some love. show her some love, even in the comments. I have to say that. Show her some love, brag on her in the comments, and let her know the shows that she has produced and the things that she do, that you appreciate the time, because this takes time, effort, money, certain things. You can make more money, but you cannot get your time back. Absolutely. Let her know that you appreciate what she produces and the things that she offers, so that she can keep it up. We want her to keep doing what she's doing, and we're definitely sending love and light. And I appreciate you so much for what you have brought, visibility that you have brought to my life, to my business, and what I believe the things that I'm actually called to do. So I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you. And I'm going to give you time to brag on yourself. Tell people where they can reach you.
Ooh wee. Well, again, I am Shawanna Kennedy. That's KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com. I get to do a number of things where I get to help other individuals, business owners, and entrepreneurs be seen, be heard, and actually be paid. And that is by way of video visibility. Also, I have a community that behind all of that, I understand what it looks and feel like to not nurture yourself, having a journey of self-love, self-care. I have a community that involves that as well, because I can speak to those people, because I can speak to that journey. So just, hey, follow me, send me some love, even tell me, let me know that you saw me right here with Dr. Tachi. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much, because look, we are the greater because you watch us. So thank you.
Absolutely. And hopefully you enjoyed this, because I probably will ask Shawanna to come back for another episode of this, but hopefully everything we said today will encourage you to brag about yourself. It's time to brag. Make sure you brag about yourself, and brag is not a bad word. Just let people know who it is you are and what you do and how you can help them. And also that all of this helps you to be more with your videos and live streams. Until next time, my friends, cheers.
We always here for you.